And he says, I just want to remind you of something. I am. Now, it would be great if everybody in the room all of a sudden had this kind of revelation that what you're going to read from now on, oh yeah, it's happening to Jesus. But keep in mind, what's happening is happening to God. Wait a minute. So God is saying a friend that I really gave myself to is going to actually betray the trust I put in him. You see, when you're looking at the cross, we always see Jesus, and I think we should, don't get me wrong. But the question has to be asked, what the heck is God doing on that cross? Why did God allow himself to go through that? It just changes everything. It's a game changer. Because now we're not looking at just the crucifixion of Jesus. We're looking at the crucifixion of God. We're looking at man's attempt to kill God. We're looking at man's attempts to have his own way and destroy God's ways. We're looking at man trying to get his hatred to overcome God's. We're looking at an entirely different thing now. We're not just looking at the injustice of a single man, but God putting himself on display. God allowing himself to be mocked. There's no sense any one of us in this room ever looking up and saying, you don't know what it's like. Because I'll tell you what, don't be surprised if you hear in return, oh, but I do. I took on flesh and blood, to be honest with you. So you can never say that, because I do know. I know what it's like to have somebody speak against me, to call me a liar, all kinds of stuff. Judas leaves the room, and at that point they go into communion. The most intimate thing that happens at the table of intimacy, communion. Like I said, it's kind of hard to put everything chronologically, but this much is clear. Immediately following the communion, when you read Luke's gospel, they start to argue at the table. Now, mind you, it's a beautiful scene. Beautifully as ugly as it gets. Let me put it that way. To have Jesus make this announcement that he's going to be betrayed, his heart's breaking. He must have said it with tears in his eyes. And they have communion, expressing his love for them, how he's laying down his life. This is my body, this is my blood, the whole thing. And as soon as they're done with communion, well, what do you think? Who's going to be greater, me or you? Jesus, which one of us is going to be greater in the kingdom? If it wasn't so sad and pathetic, it'd be funny. And all of a sudden it puts, when Jesus turns and says to them, to love one another as I have loved you, all of a sudden it takes on a whole different thing. Listen, can you get off the power trips? Can you get off the ego? Just love one another. That is the key to everything. That's what I'm just telling you what I'm doing. What you just said, Keith, because he so loves us. And if you just can love one another the way I've loved you, I'm not giving you a religion. I'm not giving you a moral code. I'm not giving you anything but my life. Is that enough? It's actually more than enough, isn't it? It's so much more. Jesus says, can we just, my God, if we could do that, if we could hang in there, no matter what, people are going to betray you. People are going to deny you. People are going to humiliate you. People are going to do this and do that. But I'm telling you, the way through is to purpose in your mind and heart that I've been given the life of Christ in me. And that life of Christ is a life of love. And I'll tell you what, sometimes I feel like I'm on a flipping pole that I've been nailed to. Peter pops up. Lord, where are you going? That leads him into, as he's saying, Lord, where are you? It leads him into this vow of loyalty that he takes to Jesus, and Jesus turns to him and basically lets him know, I know you actually think that you're Superman. I get that. I know you actually think that you can lead a righteous life. I know that you actually think that you can walk in holiness. I know you actually think that you can walk. I know you actually think that. All of us in this room, that's it. I can do that. No, you can't. Oh, speaking words of curse on me. Take it what you will. I'm speaking truth right now. Jesus looks at Peter, who thinks he can be as faithful as the day is long, and says, before the night's out, you heard I just told you about a prophecy about Judas. Well, here's one for you, Brother Peter. Before the morning breaks, you're going to deny me. Are you crazy? Me deny you? We all are like that. I will never, I remember saying this early on in my Christian walk. How could he do it? I would never deny Jesus. I got news for you. I may not have said it like, I deny you, Jesus, but my very lifestyle has proven that I've denied him many times when I haven't believed him, when he said something When he said, don't do this, and I'm right there, baby, I'm in. I fall down that Paul line that says, the things that I want to do, I can't do. The things I don't want to do, I find myself doing. Oh, wretched man that I am. And then the Spirit of God says, yeah, but there's no condemnation. I'm not denying you're a wretched man. I'm just saying that there's no condemnation. Jesus Christ is taking care. He doesn't come to condemn you. He came to save you. Now, those are his words. I did not come to condemn. I came to save. You go ahead. You like to condemn yourself and everybody else. You can do that. I'm in the salvation business. I'm in the saving business. Okay? So, we move on. Peter has just been warned of what he's going to do before daybreak. And then Jesus turns to him and says, but let not your heart be troubled. We always take that passage. We start at the beginning of John 14 without realizing it is intrinsically connected to John 13. That's the way the Bible's written. And he turns to Peter. He doesn't just say, you're going to deny me, you schlep. He says, you're going to deny me. Don't get all upset about it, Peter. You're not as great as you think you are. It's almost like that, It's okay. I'm not upset. I'm not going to hate you for it. They're going to put so much pressure on you, brother. You're going to find yourself doing things you never thought you could do. And I'm telling you something. Don't get so upset with yourself. I just told you. I'm telling you these things so that you can believe I am. You believe in God? Believe in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. I'm going to prepare a place. He just goes into this whole great big thing. Peter, I'm making space for you, brother. And I got news for you. For all of us who think, well, you got to be, like this sanctified, consecrated hunk of something. Jesus is saying, I'm making room for you, Steve, just the way you are. Well, that'll blow your humanity out of the water. I got your back. You're mine, just the way you are. You'll become more. You'll become what you actually are eventually. But for now, I got you just the way you are. And that's fine with me. I wish it was with you. We all ignore the warnings, basically. Peter basically ignores it because he's not capable of this. But Jesus has told them, look, the unexpected comes into everybody's life, and you never know what you're going to do. You think you know what you're going to do, but when the unexpected happens, when the friend betrays you and everything else, you never know what you're really capable of. We think we do. He thinks he'll be able to handle this. No matter what happens this night, I will not deny you. So they leave the upper room, or the room that they were in, and they're on the road. And we get 3 quotes on the road, and this next one we've already done before, so we won't do it again. It's from John 15:25, when he says, they hated me without a cause. If they hate me, they'll hate you, kind of thing. They'll betray you. They'll deny you. And it goes to the same thing. It still goes to the same root that Jesus is describing, with humanity as a reflection of God. With humanity, how many of us have had experiences where we haven't done anything wrong and somebody's all over us like the plague? And you just want to say to them, what did I do that you dislike me so much? And I'm not even going to get into, I'm just saying, when we manifest the presence of God, whether we know we are or not, that's a different story. When we manifest the presence of God, when we manifest love and all that, and bringing light into a situation and peace and joy, there is conflict going on. There's a kingdom of darkness that says, I'm not having that. And when 2 fronts meet, you get a storm. It does happen. Anyway, moving on to the next quote, and this is where chronologically it gets a bit sloppy and messy, but I'm just going to go with what I believe in. Would somebody go to Matthew 26 and read verses 31 through 35? But he's actually going to quote Zechariah 13:7.
Then Jesus said to them, all you shall be offended because of me this night, for it's written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered abroad. After I am risen again, I will go before you to Galilee. Peter answered and said to him, though all men will be offended because of you, yet I will never be offended. Truly I say to you that this night before the cock crows, you will deny me thrice. Peter said to him, though I should die with thee, I will not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because this is the second time now. In the upper room, or when they were having the dinner, Peter's all over this thing. I'm going to be loyal to you. And Jesus tells him, I don't think so. They get on the road, they're walking. You got to put this thing in. They're walking, they're on their way to the garden, and once again, Peter's all over that thing. Well, although everybody's offended tonight, I won't be. I'm not going to. He's all over it because he can do anything. Peter can do anything. I've told you before. Unfortunately, I identify more with Peter than a lot of the apostles in terms of, I can do anything. I got this one. Don't worry about it. And it's like you learn the hard way. Actually, you don't got this one, and you can't do anything. So you have to learn how to follow the leading of the Spirit that says, this is what I've called you to do. Do that. And this is what I'll enable you to do. Do that. Okay? So Peter's all over it again. But the thing is, it says there before the night's out, they're all going to fall into the same trap kind of thing. So Peter's not alone. And we're always all over Peter's denial because it's very clearly written. At the fire he denied. But it says before the night's out, they were all going to deny him. They were all going to stumble. They were all going to get messed up because of what was happening. And I don't think we could really appreciate what it was like to walk with Jesus for 3.5 years, be consumed with his love all the time, his joy, his peace, his magnificent teachings, his healings, his miracles, his acceptance. No matter what I say or do, the brother's like all over me saying, come on, Steve, really, it's okay. To be in that place and then to go through a nightmare, an absolute nightmare of arrest and betrayal and beating and watching him and saying, why isn't he doing anything about it? And to hear him say, but I told you, I am. So the question then bears asking, why isn't he doing anything? He's letting us do whatever we want, which is why I absolutely deplore, without a doubt, this view of God that he sacrificed his son, that he was behind the crucifixion. It was the game plan all along. Instead of, how about this for a game plan? I'm going to let humanity do whatever they want to me. I'm going to let them hate me. I'm going to let them crucify me. I'm going to let them humiliate me. I'm going to let them do whatever they want, their best shot. And then what I'm going to do is come out the other end, because life is stronger than death, to show them that what I have to offer and who I am is much better and stronger than all that stuff. It doesn't work.